Election headquarters. Here's Fred Childers with This Week in Louisiana Politics.
Well, good Sunday morning to you and happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm Fred Childers. Thanks for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Politics on your local election headquarters. Well, the Louisiana legislature has gavelled back in for the first regular session of Governor Jeff Landry's term. Following two special sessions already, conservatives have steep goals they want to achieve. Capitol reporter Shannon Hecht brings us a look into the months ahead.
It is the first full regular session of Jeff Landry's term, and he laid out a lot of major goals that he's looking to accomplish this year, from reforming insurance and education, and even making changes to the state's constitution, as lawmakers gavel in for their third session of the year. With a Republican governor and a supermajority in both chambers, conservative lawmakers are hoping to check off a number of bills that have been shoved to the back burner for years. Landry said in his State of the State address that he wants to restructure the state constitution.
We do need to take a look at what we can do to streamline government. I'm all about making government more efficient, more friendly for our taxpayers, and that may very well be the way we have to do it.
On the other hand, Democrats are strategizing how they can make an impact with their legislation and the few committee seats they hold.
We need to make sure not only that kids are fed during the summer, but that they have access to health care. And so that's going to be another big issue for us, and also making sure that people can afford insurance.
Landry's plan for a constitutional convention has not yet been revealed. The last one was held in 1973.
Our current system of constitutional protectionism simply does not allow you, the legislature, to implement the needed change, which often leaves solutions coming far too late.
In the meantime, he hinted at his support for reform for educational mandates, insurance, and making Louisiana more attractive to businesses by not overtaxing them. Tuesday will be the start of committee hearings for the over 1,000 bills that have to be heard in this session. For your local election headquarters, I'm Shannon Hecht.
And lawmakers are also debating the state's budget. They're going to fight over money, and that's leading to some criticism towards the Department of Health over Medicaid and mental health services. LDH makes up the largest portion of the state's budget, coming out to over $19 billion this year. That amount is lower than last year since federal pandemic funds are drying up, and that's resulted in over 400,000 people being rolled off of Medicaid. While some qualified to get back on, there are 270,000 people the department could not reach.
We know that there is a subset of those that rolled off that still qualify. We want those patients back on the rolls. As I said in committee, the worst thing that can happen to that patient is to be uninsured, and the worst thing that can happen to the Louisiana taxpayer is for that patient to be uninsured, because then their only access is the emergency room.
Now, the rates for providers who see Medicaid patients have not seen an increase since 2012. Lawmakers want to see that fixed so patients won't lose access to their doctors. The president of Southern University, Dr. Dennis Shields, is asking state lawmakers to fix a reported funding shortfall of more than $1 billion. Shields based that number on a 2023 report from the U.S. Department of Education and USDA. That report stated that funding per student would have led to another $1.1 billion being provided to the university due to its land grant status.
That parity has not been happening for Southern University over the last 30 years. Something north of $1.1 billion is where we're trailing. I would ask this body to take action this year to immediately begin addressing that.
Shields also told lawmakers Southern University has more than $400 million in capital projects waiting to be approved. A number of bills advanced in the legislature that could have an impact on you when you get on the road. Do you smoke in your car? Do you ride a motorcycle? Well, Shannon Hecht breaks down the proposed changes.
The House Transportation Committee passed a number of bills that have to do with safety. One would add restrictions to smoking in your car when a child is present. Another changes who is required to wear helmets when riding a motorcycle. And lastly, one would make it so you can't walk along a highway at night. HB 317 looks to do away with the state's mandatory helmet law for motorcyclists. State Representative Rodney Shammerhorn wants to change it so people who are over 21 and can prove that they have health insurance don't have to wear helmets.
Yeah, it's a safety issue, but golly, we've got some rights, you know, as citizens of Louisiana.
Another bill would ban smoking in a car if a child under the age of 13 is inside. It is already penalized for smoking with kids in car seats in the car. Louisiana has also seen a rash of pedestrians being hit and killed on the side of the road, especially at night. HB 539 would prohibit people from walking on the side of a highway where the speed is above 35 miles per hour at night, unless they have a reflective vest on.
Louisiana's rate of pedestrian fatalities is double compared to the rest of the nation.
State Representative Chad Boyer said that his district has seen a lot of people get hit and killed on the major highways. Penalties for people walking on these roadways at night will be determined by individual agencies. These bills now head to the full House for more debate. At the Capitol for your local election headquarters, I'm Shannon Hecht.
House Bill 721 was proposed and filed by State Representative Lauren Ventrella. If the bill passes, teachers and administrators who have a valid concealed handgun permit would be allowed to have a firearm on school campus. Now, the proposal has led to a bit of controversy from some state representatives like Timmy Chason, who represents District 44. Chason says the firearm can cause a distraction for education.
Just see it as a hurdle in the way of education. It's so many different pitfalls. The thought, man, of a gun in my 13-year-old son's class, in my 5-year-old daughter's class, in any of the 33,000 students that we have in Lafayette Parish School System, or privately, it just scares me.
Now, the session resumes this week. The bill has not yet been scheduled for a hearing. A number of bills have been proposed that will put restrictions on voting by mail and those who may help someone fill out and deliver their mail-in ballots. Shannon is back with those details.
Louisiana allows absentee ballots for people who are over 65 or may be disabled or out of the state during the time of the election. The practice has grown in popularity since the pandemic. A number of bills have been proposed that some fear could restrict people trying to vote by mail or assist someone with their ballot. Senate Bill 155 limits how many people an individual can assist with filling out their ballot. Already in law, a person can only be a witness to one person's mail-in ballot if they need help.
We had video evidence of things like this after the last election we had, and we want to be able to follow up on that and investigate.
Another bill adds a fine and jail time for witnessing more than one ballot. In a hearing this week, State Senator Caleb Klein-Peter alluded to elected officials turning in multiple ballots into the post office for mail-in voters. HB 476 aims to ban people from delivering more than one ballot to the post office at a time.
But if the ballot is legal, otherwise, what's wrong with someone picking a ballot up and turning it in?
Klein-Peter suggested that information could be taken or the ballots could be tampered with. While some senators voiced concerns about these bills making it harder for vulnerable people to vote, Landry says it's in the name of protecting them.
It's just common sense changes. We don't feel like they're onerous or burdensome. We think it'll protect our elderly and disabled from some nefarious organizations that are trying to take advantage of them.
Each of these bills are working their way through the regular legislative session, which lasts until June 3rd.
State law enforcement will bring back some restrictions on those vape products. We'll tell you what they are next. Stay with us.